Alrighty.
It's that time of the year or week.
The week.
Or night.
In the Christmas mood.
Oh.
It's the most wonderful time of the week.
The Puck Buddies.
Yes, the Puck Buddy
Monotone
podcast. We are here
Baritone.
again
Sorry.
with your host, myself, Bo Hendrickson, Cam Che to the left,
Hello.
The rad.
Eddie Murad, or the Rad, Eddie Murad, how rad is he to the right?
More rad to you.
So rad. But once again, we are your Puck Buddies, here to provide you with some expert fantasy advice, as
Anybody?
always. And today we got a good episode on
Guys, did you realize we're a quarter of the way through the season?
Officially
All right.
today or?
Well, this week, yeah. This week was pretty much the start of the quarter of the season.
I
So
like
I'm
quarters.
excited. That's
I mean, I feel like that's crazy. I mean,
I know,
games
right?
have been going
No.
pretty quick. We're in week, what was it, 8 now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or week 8 just finished, so we're going to week 9.
Yeah, I guess right. That's crazy.
I had no idea
I don't know, I
that
thought
we
it
were
was
this,
crazy.
this
You guys-
far into the season.
I thought it was done.
See, we weren't.
Wait, hockey's not over?
It's not golf season yet.
What happened?
I know. But I love hockey season. It's sad.
It's
quarter
sad
of the way
that
over.
we're already that far, but we've enjoyed it. It's been fun.
Yeah.
This podcast has been great. So
Yeah.
there's only 3 quarters more to go.
Whoa!
3 more quarters of listening to us talk about nonsense.
So we get $1.
Dollar bill, y'all. Okay, so what are we doing, Bo? with
So
this
what we
first
got
one?
going on today, as Eddie mentioned, we are a quarter of the way done with our fantasy season and just the NHL season in general. That we are going to give you our quarterly rankings.
Some power!
rankings.
Okay.
You brought the power, you brought the rankings. So we're going to do our quarterly
Lacklusterly.
rankings. And we're also going to do our usual starts of the week, breaking down each position and who you should start and who you should not start, or mainly who you should start. But yeah, we will go through those 2 segments today. So it's going to be a rather short one, but it's going to be chock full of information nonetheless. So let's hop right into it. Our quarterly rankings.
Alright.
So what we got here is we got NHL.com Super 16 rankings. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's pretty much NHL's super rankings of 16 teams. Wow.
At this point in the season, yeah.
Yes,
So
But no,
top 16
yeah,
teams.
so pretty much
Yeah.
at this quarter, we will tell you all 16 teams as ranked by NHL.com and who they think are the best teams, and we will discuss whether or not we agree with them.
alright.
So first off, number 1, Montreal Canadiens. Did any of you guys not see this happening? Because I
No, I agree.
definitely saw it happening.
Yeah.
Anyways, so number 2, Chicago Blackhawks. Something to discuss later.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, the New York Rangers. Makes sense. They're on fire right now. And number
Flagel.
4, the Pittsburgh Penguins, reigning Stanley Cup champions. Makes sense. Number 5, the Washington Capitals.
Who are not even in playoff contention. But let's keep going.
Yes. Then number 6, we have the St. Louis Blues. Doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, which we love, the San Jose Sharks.
Sharks.
Doing pretty well. And number 8, we have the Columbus Blue
You're
Jackets.
dang right.
Oh, you're darn right we do.
Darn tootin'.
And number 9, the Tampa Bay Lightning, or the Steven Stamkos Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
Number 10, we have the Anaheim should be Mighty Ducks, but are just labeled as
Seriously.
Ducks. Number 11, Ottawa Senators, very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12, the Nashville Predators. And number 13, we're getting a little wild with the Minnesota Wild.
Buck Wild.
And we have at number 14, the Los Angeles Kings.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little more of a surprise than I think we would have thought at the beginning of the season after
Yeah.
losing quick.
That's true.
And we have number 15, the Edmonton Oilers, which are surprisingly pretty low for a team that started off so hot.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, wrapping it up.
Squeezing in.
Yeah, squeezing in. It's tight squeeze, actually.
Very tight.
But the Boston Bruins are the final team on the Super 16 rankings.
Cool.
So we've named all 16 for you right now. Now let's kind of get into the ones that we agree with, the ones we don't agree with, and, work from it from there. So what do we got, boys?
Well, just off the bat, I believe a small change. I think the Rangers should be ahead of the Blackhawks, and I'll tell you why real quick. I think I'm going to lay it on you real quick here. All right, so if you look at the New York Rangers, they have 35 points in 26 games played with 17 regulation wins. Compare that to Chicago, who's ranked one above them. They've played one more game at 27. They have the exact same amount of points, 35, but they have one less regulation win. They also are on a 2-game losing streak, Chicago is, and the Rangers are on a 1-game winning streak. The Rangers' goal differential is plus 30, while the Blackhawks is plus 6. For me, I would put the Rangers just above Chicago, especially with Taves still down. So for me, I don't know why the Hawks are above the Rangers. Eddie, do you feel differently, or?
I do feel differently.
Disagreement.
Contention.
Drop the gloves.
The reason why I think the Rangers are so high up right now, and they're still behind the Chicago, but even so, is they've been getting production from all their lines. All 4 of them have been producing ridiculous numbers.
But isn't that what you want?
That is what you want, sir, but is that sustainable? No.
Probably not.
There's no team in the NHL who has had all 4 lines produce all throughout the season and had JT Miller provide their number 1 fantasy option for like a couple weeks. So
Miller time.
JT Miller, I don't think he's going to be doing crazy numbers like that. Kevin Hayes, he's not going to be doing that. Grabner's been...
Hayes, man. Watch out.
Hayes.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt your train of thought?
Now I'm lost. But yeah, I mean, Grabner's been killing it, which is really interesting to see. He's scoring goals up the yin-yang. But yeah, I don't know if he'll even keep producing. But the thing about the Chicago Blackhawks are they have shown time and time again that they have depth and they work well, they synergize well, and they have the lines to do it with the goaltending provided. Lundqvist is, of course, the king, but he is aging a little bit. They have Ronta there, who's actually one of the better backups in the league, so I don't discount him. But looking at the numbers, Chicago's had a better home record than the Rangers. Their road record has been but they also started off with a very shaky start, having like 3 right off the bat losses, which was very surprising. So I think that kind of goes into there too. For me, I think Chicago is fine where they are. I could see why you want the Rangers to go up. I just think the Blackhawks are a better team.
I would say my only counterpoint is these rankings are supposed to be up to this point in the season, not looking ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking ahead.
Right now, like, knowing Chicago they're definitely going to be leading the Central at the end of the season. At the end of the season, they're going to be in the playoffs, obviously. Hopefully the Rangers will too. But I think right now, just from what I'm seeing on the stat sheet and how they've been playing with, like you said, everybody contributing, I think while they're hot, they deserve to be ahead of the Blackhawks. If everyone drops off, like they probably will, I would agree that they may drop down even more than that, to like the 6th or 7th, even below that, if they get back to only having the top 2 lines score. But
yeah. And the top 2 lines in Chicago are so much better than
they really are.
So that's part of what I think. Even in these rankings up till now, I still think the Chicago Blackhawks should be higher. But
there you go.
Fair enough. And they are.
And they are. So I guess I'm just arguing for the NHL Super 16 rankings that are already published.
Do you work for the Illuminati?
I gotta go.
We lost it.
So
So the next team we want to talk to, this ranking for them, the Washington Capitals at number 5, is interesting because they have to be looking ahead at this point.
Yeah.
In the Super 16 ranking, because there's no way, the way that
I don't think
the Capitals have been playing right now, that they are worthy of a number 5 spot.
Yeah, I don't think the writers at NHL.com can bear to put them down lower because on paper they're just a ridiculously great team. But their best player Kuznetsov is just
Kent Fanzanetsov.
So no. Apart from that, they've been struggling on the power play.
Mr. Bender himself,
Mr. Golden Bend.
Yeah.
The Golden Bender. But
Mr. Bended Snap.
And his stick really snaps whenever he takes a shot.
Every time he's just like, "This is why I cannot score." Don't know. Anyway, but yeah, they've just been struggling all around. Holtby's been struggling. He was in our Benders of the week. The power play hasn't been clicking. They've been moving John Carlson off the top power play to even just find something that'll spark. Niskanen's on the top power play unit now.
The fact that John Carlson has been taken off is a really bad sign for them.
Yeah.
So
The amount of money he's getting paid to not produce.
So if they can't turn it around, I definitely think they should be moved down.
Yeah, I think what they're having trouble with right now is last season they were the number one scoring team. They had the most goals for, and currently they only have 58 goals for, and that's not even close to the top.
That's one of the lowest.
Yeah, that's one of the lowest because the top team right now is the New York Rangers at 95, which is ridiculous. They have an 8 goals ahead lead compared to any other team, which second place coming in is Philadelphia, which is something we'll get into in a little bit. But for the Capitals, they are not producing, enough goals to keep them that highly ranked in the NHL Super Ranking. So I could see them moving down.
I was going to say, just to add on to what you were saying, only Arizona and Buffalo, I believe, have less goals for.
Colorado,
fewer.
too.
Sorry, fewer. And Colorado, you're right. Colorado, Arizona, and Buffalo are the only team that have fewer goals for. So,
And Minnesota,
Yeah.
they have 50.
But either way, for a team that was number one last
that's
year.
goals against. Goals for 64.
Oh, you're right, sorry.
Yeah.
Numbers.
Anyways, we're moving Washington Capitals down. We could see the Blues, Sharks, even the Jackets ahead of them.
Absolutely.
At this point, yeah,
You go,
definitely.
how low can you go at the Washington Capitals?
How low
Is
can
kind of
you
what
go?
we're saying here.
Yeah.
All right, one more team we want to get into, and that would be the Ottawa Senators. They are currently ranked number 11, which I feel is pretty surprising. I feel like most people going into the season didn't think that they were even a playoff team. So to see them in the top 16 is, that's
Second
good for
in the
them.
Atlantic behind Montreal right now.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
incredible. Ahead of teams like Tampa Bay and Boston. And
Yes. So where do you guys see them moving up, down? I mean, one thing I would like to mention is Craig Anderson has recently taken a leave of absence. So that's going to hurt them. I mean, I could see them going down because of that, but still, they've been playing well. Condon's a solid backup,
yeah.
but it's just, that's not favorable when you lose your starting goaltender.
Yeah.
Especially when he's playing so hot this year.
Yeah,
You
so
want him to play consistently. But.
Honestly, I don't see I don't see them going below Nashville, Minnesota, Los Angeles, Edmonton, or Boston. But I also don't see them going ahead of anybody except. No, I don't. I'm okay with where they are. I think that with Anderson gone, it's going to be a little tricky. But the only team maybe that could switch with them actually would be Los Angeles.
once they get Quick back.
Yeah,
Or
I
if
think-
you're looking ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've proven they are with Washington. So I think the Kings could switch with them potentially, especially as soon as Quick's back, because then no more goals will be going in. So
Exactly.
Very true.
Agreed.
Well, would you guys say that you have any more disagreements, or you think that's
I have one team that just to look out for that I think could have been there instead of Boston would be Philadelphia.
I can see that.
For me, they've played a lot of games, 27. That's second most in the league so far, and they only have 31 points. So that's probably why they didn't make the list. However, they are on a 5-game winning streak. So I think they've earned a spot at least number 16 on the list. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I definitely see them pushing in to
If
the
Mason
top
keeps
16.
playing well, then
Yeah.
sure, why not? I mean, they have been struggling on defense. Gostisbehere has been quite the ghost lately.
He's
He's
literally,
just not even there.
Not-
except not literally, but
yeah.
he's still alive. It's fine, guys. It's gonna be okay.
I mean, he's been healthy scratched one game. He just hasn't been producing. Sophomore slumping. Hardcore.
It's because he cut his flow. I'm telling you, he needs that flow back. So
Every
when he
hockey
scores,
player needs their
he
flow.
can just like.
How do you think Yager's been in the year or the
Yeah,
league so
yeah.
long?
Seriously,
It's
he's
all
still
flow.
producing.
I haven't cut this thing since I joined the league.
Yeah.
He has to
Has
just
it like
layered
wrapped
and
around
layered.
his body, just like a belt. Anyway, yeah, I think I could definitely see Philadelphia because they scored the most goals
Or the second most
Second-
behind
second
the New York
most?
Rangers. But the
Yeah, but
crazy
they're-
thing is they have also given up the most
almost
goals.
as many goals.
Well,
It's
they've
like-
given up 85 goals, and
Yeah, it's a goaltending and defense
Issue.
breakdown towards because they'll be ahead early in games, and then they'll just drop 2 or 3 in a 2-minute span, and it's really hurting them. That might be why they haven't made the list.
Yeah.
But 5 games in a row,
Oh yeah.
biggest streak in the NHL right now. So
Yeah, if they can turn it around, why not? I definitely would like to see them up there. One other team I want to mention too, the Panthers. There's a team that made playoffs last year and
fire their head coach.
fired their head coach for it. Well, not for that particular reason, but it's just I don't know. I think they're like a way better team than they've been doing right now, and that they've been showing. I mean, they only lost. They have a 1-game losing streak at the moment. They have, they've been getting scored on a little bit more than they've been scoring. A lot of that, like when I watch the games, a lot of that is kind of whack goals. Luongo is a very solid goaltender. He's been letting, I mean, some of them go in kind of way crazy. Reimer has been letting in some awful goals. So he hasn't been playing nearly as well as when he was on the Sharks. But
So sad for him.
yeah, but they can definitely turn it around. They have the talent. A lot of, like we were saying earlier, is they've been slumping a little bit.
And Huberdeau's still
Still on the IR.
so.
We'll keep saying that. But once he gets back, it just adds that extra dimension to the team.
Well, it allows. Remind me, I am blanking on a name.
Marchessault
to drop down to the second line. That is going to be an unstoppable first 2 lines.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even him like on the third line, because I know a lot of teams in the past, like Tampa Bay, used him on the third line.
Yeah, and like how they,
It's
Penguins have
crazy.
Phil Kessel on the third line. If you're allowed to get your third line to have that depth, I mean,
I can't believe Phil Kessel's on the third line. Their team is so stacked.
well, he lifted the cup from the third line, so in San Jose.
So sad. Why, Phil? Why could you just stay at home?
like for the cup,
He
Yeah,
honestly
for the-
looks like
the
he
World
does.
Cup. I know because he makes double chins like
Yeah, he has a fat face, so it looks like he stays at home.
him
But
and
he's
Rick
probably
Nash both.
Better shape than I could ever even imagine.
Oh yeah,
Potentially.
The way he skates,
Yeah.
it looks like he's chasing after a cheeseburger. Like the puck's
Yeah.
just a cheeseburger. He's like, "Come here, come here."
Phil
I
Kessel.
wonder if like if
Love
you
him,
zoom
though.
in, there's like a little like stick on the back of his head and like a little string and like a cheeseburger like floating. Just,
How is he so fast?
I'm sorry, we should.
Phil Kessel's amazing.
He
though.
is amazing. Sorry, Phil.
Yeah, as
But
much
yeah.
as we could talk about Phil all day,
He's amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's move
I
forward.
think we should move past the rankings and just hop right into our starts of the week.
Help you guys out with some
Yeah.
potential matchups you guys got going on.
Yeah,
There you
spit
go.
some real fantasy knowledge. So as always, starts of the week. These are players that we think you should, as it says, start this week over other players you would consistently start. So these are guys that usually have more favorable matchups, have been on a hot streak, or just have been playing well in general, and we can endorse them. So I'm gonna hop right into it with the first centers that we're gonna go into. My start of the week will be Ryan Johansson.
Woo!
So Ryan Johansson. Yeah, Johansson has been doing pretty well. In his past 5 games, he has 4 goals, 3 assists, 3 power play points, and 15 shots on goal. So you might say that it's a little tough now that he lost James Neal for him to be producing that consistently, but he's still been playing well. I mean, now there's more on his shoulders to produce. So I think he's going to step up to the plate. He has multi-point games in 3 of his past 5 games, with 3 power play points in those games. So that looks pretty good for him. He's definitely someone who scores in bunches. So I see him having a couple multi-point games this week. And that's mainly because he's playing against Colorado at home, then he's playing at Dallas and at Arizona.
I just want to remind you guys, Colorado was on a 5-game losing streak, and they are a minus 20 goal differential team. So, Bone knows what he's saying.
So look at it to, be more than minus 20 next time they play the National Predators. And, just Dallas in general, unless Niemi's in the net.
That's
true.
Then I believe that he'll have a good matchup. And Arizona, they've been playing well with Mike Smith, but I believe it's possible to put a couple pucks past
Did you
him.
see his goal against when he played the Avalanche, where he like dipsy doodled around everyone and just scored top corner?
So basically, when he plays Colorado, he's going
Must start,
Yeah.
which he is. So
Yep.
yeah, definitely start him.
So prepare for another highlight reel goal sometime this week.
Hopefully, it was pretty sick. Anyway, moving on.
Speaking of highlight reel goals,
Oh my God.
everything this kid touches.
This kid, I'm glad I kept him on the IR in one of my leagues. I
killed
sat on him.
Tim. Sorry.
What'd you do?
I killed Tim.
I killed him.
That's
Jack,
not like I killed
That's why he was on the IR.
I killed him. Jack Eichel, dude, he's amazing. Let's see. What when you have this guy and he comes back from from off the IR, I made this mistake. I was like, oh, he just came back from a devastating
You
injury.
sat him, didn't you?
He came back after months of being out. I don't know if I can trust that. How foolish. How foolish I was.
Is that why he pointed up and went, Eddie, to the camera?
You fool. Yes, he instantly made me regret that decision. He literally had, pretty sure, let's see. He had 4 points. He was +2, had 2 penalty minutes, 3 power play points, 11 shots on goal in 3 games. And his first game back, I'm pretty sure he had like something in every category. He had a goal, assist,
Power play point.
penalty minutes,
hits,
just
shots,
everything. He just came out with a vengeance. He just came out on fire. He was like, I haven't been skating in so long. But anyway. And
Who's McDavid?
Who is McDavid? As a result, Buffalo has won 2 of the last 3 games with Jack Black. So he's a must start every week now. I don't know if you guys know that. I don't know if people who are listening know that. But
hopefully
if he's
they
in your
do.
lineup, start him.
Yeah.
Don't make mistakes that I make.
Don't be a fool.
He elevates the play of all his teammates around him and the Sabres as a whole.
Is he playing with Okposo now?
He's playing with O'Reilly and I think Okposo as well.
Yeah, he's on the top line, so he's been playing. Yeah, playing some.
It's good for me because I have the post.
You have the post.
I have the post. All right. Let me move into.
I want to mention one other thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
About the Sabres. I'm trying to look up real quick their matchups this week. They're not good.
I can get him right now.
They play.
Oh, you got him.
Yeah, they play the Capitals twice and Edmonton once. So those aren't the best matchups. They're not like green light, let's go. But they're with him back. It's just you got to start him.
However, I got to be honest. I don't know why Washington is getting such a good rep right now.
Well, at home, like they play them at home, so they're better at home.
That's true. They do have a pretty good home record, 8-4. But
And
I would say start him against him.
No, I'm not. Yeah, totally saying start him regardless.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that.
I agree.
Thank you.
Really quick, I'm going to go into my center on the who else? Columbus Blue Jackets. Alexander Wenberg.
There's just so many people you can start from that team now because they're so good now. They're so good.
This has never happened. I have 2 jerseys, a hat, and a sweatshirt. I need to get underwear for. Never mind.
Just brush off all the dust.
Yeah. So the last 5 games, Alex. Last 5 games, Alex has 3 goals, 1 assist, 11 shots, and a +1 rating. That brings him to 21 points on the season. Sorry, 21 points on the season. He centers the first line and is on the top power play unit.
What?
That's what I said. 2.1 point. No, 21 points. He centers the first line, is on the top power play unit of a very good Columbus Blue Jackets team that has a very, very, very favorable schedule this week. Home versus the Coyotes and the Islanders, and then away at Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, no brainer. I'm going to jump really quick into my left winger because he's on the exact same team and the exact same line. Brandon Saad. He's not sad anymore.
Brandon's happy.
He's another Jacket that's been great the last 5 games. He has 3 goals and 3 assists, 2 penalty minutes, and a +4 rating. He has 20 points on the season after a very slow start. He's on the first line as well, and he's on the second power play unit. You need to play Saad.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
So, boom.
Yeah.
We should just add the whole Columbus, just the team.
Oh, I have
to
one
the
more.
Buttes.
I don't think I have another.
How
Darn.
many more? We just go through the whole Columbus
Yeah.
roster.
We should start Bobrovsky.
Really quick, moving on to the second line.
This guy.
The fourth line winger.
Scott Hartnell on the fourth
Dude, he's
line.
actually not bad.
I know, their fourth line's pretty good. Anyway, I'll let you guys pick up your left winger when he wants to go.
I'll go just because I mentioned him in our last podcast. Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk. I won't go through all the details again. You guys can go back and listen to it, but he's been playing really well as of late. He's got some exploitable matchups this week against Dallas, Arizona, and Winnipeg. He'll be on the road for the Dallas and Arizona games at home versus Winnipeg. And I want to mention again, these are important things to note. All the teams that they're playing are bottom 8 in goals against per 60 minutes. So you'll hopefully be seeing a lot of goals in those games, which will come from the top line hopefully. And now and those teams are also top 20 in penalty minutes. So you'll be seeing a lot of power play time.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully, Dallas is number 2 with the most power play time taken or penalties taken.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg's number 9. So
Hopefully Tkachuk can capitalize on that.
I'm hoping so. Hopefully he can keep up his hot play, even with Gaudreau back, because
I believe.
Yeah.
I can fly. No, that was a statement.
Oh.
No. You can fly?
Well, I mean Southwest.
You've
all
been
the time.
chugging those. Oh, okay.
Oink, oink.
All right, bro.
So I'm moving to my left winger. This guy, you might think you would usually start him, but he's been slumping, so you weren't starting him. But I'm gonna tell you that you got to start him again.
Gaudreau.
Braden Shen.
Got him.
That's the man right there.
Yeah.
Past 4 games, it's not been that impressive. He's got 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 power play point, 12 shots and 14 hits. But the thing I want to highlight there is he has 12 shots and 14 hits, so that's pretty much saying that, he's about 1 for 1 for shots and hits. And he's been doing this on a 5-game winning streak for the Philadelphia Flyers, so they have been on fire. Philadelphia Fires, as they're soon to be called.
Mm-hmm.
But so pretty much to go into him, he, like I said before, he's been on a little bit of a drought. He just scored his first goal in 10 games, so that's not too promising.
Oh, wow, really?
But I think that's going to turn around this week.
All right.
He's playing with the Dark Knight.
You heard it here first.
Bruce Wayne Simmons. And that's always good news when you're playing with that man.
Always.
And his matchups are, it looks pretty good. He's got 4 games this week, so that's more than most normal. Usually you have 3 games in a week, but it's one of those weeks where the Flyers, who are once again on a 5-game win streak, have 4 games this week, and that could make it on a 9-game win streak once they play the Florida Panthers at home, the Edmonton Oilers at home, the Dallas Stars at home, and they're going on the road to play Detroit. So those are all winnable games for the hot Philadelphia Flyers right now.
Definitely.
And the main reason that I put him in my start of the weeks is he's playing 4 games, and he's been putting up shots and hits like no other. So within the last 4 games, he got 12 shots and 14 hits. I expect him to get even more than that in these next coming 4 games against weaker teams than he played the last week.
Yeah,
So
hopefully with a couple points here and there too.
Braden Shen looking good. So I'm just gonna hop into my right winger now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you another Johansson, and that's Marcus
Yo.
Johansson.
Yo,
yes.
Yo.
The J silent.
Yo,
Yo. Johansson life for me. So Johansson himself, he's been all right his past 4 games.
I'm sorry. Yo ho, Johansson starts this week. I'm sorry.
That's so much better.
So much better. Marcus Pirate.
Oh, that's so great. Long John Johansson over here. He's gonna have a killer week.
I hope so.
He's gonna plunder the team.
We gotta talk about him more. Just for the he's experiencing the Ovi effect now.
Yeah, he's on the
he
top
just
line.
moved on
That's
to the top
crazy.
line with Ovechkin and Backstrom. That's I think that's enough said in terms of that. If you're playing with those two, then you're gonna get points these next couple of weeks. And if you don't think you're going to be getting points, then you will once you hear who they're playing. They're playing Buffalo, Boston, at Buffalo, and Vancouver. So they're playing Buffalo twice. And if you didn't think Buffalo was that bad, then Vancouver's takes the cake on that. They're much worse. So those are great matchups.
They're only minus 17 goal differential.
I know. I know. But pretty much Johansson, since he's been on the first line, he's increased his playing time to 20 minutes and 19 minutes in his past 2 games. He's going to be out there the whole time on the first line with Ovi and Backstrom.
Nice.
And he's going to be scoring goals on goals on goals. Or Ovechkin's going to be scoring goals on goals on goals
And hopefully he'll benefit
against
from it.
Buffalo.
At least get
and Buffalo.
plus and minus, or plus, and hopefully some assists.
Yeah. So Long John Johansson.
Arr.
All right.
Sail that ship.
Yeah. Right. Why don't I just do mine real quick?
Do it.
Victor Arvidsson. Victor hasn't had the most prolific last 5 games with only 1 goal, 1 assist, and 17 shots, but his matchups make him a pretty good choice. He will be at home versus Colorado and Arizona, and then flying away to Dallas. So, he's on the first power play. I'm sorry. He's on the first line in the second power play unit. So I expect him to kind of re-find his stride during these games because, Dallas and Colorado and Arizona.
Yeah.
So,
And they're excellent at home. So
yes.
We'll see.
we'll see. All right. Moving on. I mentioned this guy a little bit, but in previous podcasts, but Leon Draisaitl. Recently, he's been put on the top line with McDavid. He's 67% owned, but has been plus 13 in the past day. Obviously, it's because everyone's seeing him being put on that top line.
McDavid effect.
The McDavid effect, of course. It's strong and potent. But he's accumulated 3 goals, 1 assist, 2 power play points, and 10 shots in 2 games. Obviously, there's a difference in Draisaitl's game when he's put on McDavid's line. But also in the Oilers as a whole, as they've turned things around from their 3-game losing streak prior to him being on the top line, and they've won their past 2 games with him on the first line. His Corsi is at a career high 55.1 with an absurd shooting percentage of 18.2. That might be unsustainable, but as long as he's on the McDavid line, I would continue to ride this hot hand and expect career numbers from Leon Draisaitl if he continues to stay on that line. They have some interesting matchups. They should be high-scoring affairs because they're going to Buffalo. They're going to Philadelphia, who we know scores a lot and lets in a lot. They're going to Minnesota, which might be a tough one, and then they have Winnipeg at home, and they have Winnipeg's number. They've won most games when they face them, especially when they're at home. So look to him to have a hot week this week. And I'll move right on along into my defenseman. Move along, sir. Move along. Bo mentioned it earlier. The Caps have a very cake schedule this week, so naturally I'm going to pick Matt Niskanen, who has usurped John Carlson on the top power play unit. Right now he's 58% owned, so he might not be your first choice to start, but he's definitely someone you should start this week. The Capitals' PP is one of the deadliest in the league when it's on point. The one defenseman placed on the top power play unit will be Matt Niskanen. So his Corsi right now is a 53.7. Carlson's Corsi is a 51.3. They're pretty even, so Niskanen could be interchangeable on that top power play. But while he's on the top power play, you need to play him. And like Bo said, they're playing Buffalo, Boston, going to Buffalo, and then playing Vancouver at home. Just start all your Capitals this week, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what I got to ask. Or that's what I got to
Caps and Jackets. Those are the 2 that almost every player could probably start and be fine.
Yes, they're good
I'll do mine real quick.
All right.
Colton Parayko, so while he holds the unfortunate record of the player who has shot the most pucks this season without scoring an actual goal, he still brings a lot of fantasy value, especially this week.
At least he holds a record.
Yeah, right? In his last 5
He's got a
games.
trophy.
And he held that starting a month and a half ago, and he still has it.
Wow.
So Colton brings a lot of
consistency.
Yeah, right. So his last 5 games, he has 4 assists, a +3 rating, 7 hits, and 11 shots. The Blues have a tough lineup this week, playing Montreal at home, then the Islanders, Devils, and the Wild on the road. However, the Blues are 7-2-1 in the last 10. I would start Parayko with confidence in every game except possibly the Wild. If you have another D-man, you were thinking about starting over him because Dubnyk has been Dubnyk lately.
Dubnyk in it.
But honestly, any Blues player, I'm going to take that back. Colton Parayko, I think, is a safe start with the amount of shots and hits that he's been getting, and he's been getting a lot of assists. So for me, he's a start this week.
There you go.
There it is. Well, I'm going to give you my defenseman.
You teach me how to do this, Bo?
I would love to teach you how to Dougie.
How to Hamilton?
Pass
legislation.
Yes, indeed. But Dougie Hamilton, he is my defenseman this week that you should start. And there's actually good reasons why. I would love to get into the stats of it, but during this podcast, I just checked the score to the Calgary Flames and Anaheim game.
Oh my gosh.
And Calgary just beat Anaheim 8-3.
What?
They scored 8 goals against Anaheim.
And you beat me.
Yeah, let's take a pause there. Eddie got his first win of the week.
Versus
First win of the
me,
year.
and it was
Oh,
terrible.
yeah,
Win of the year.
Sorry.
Oh my
season.
gosh, how
Yes.
awful. How awful.
Against Cam.
You just...
Aren't you in like third place?
It's gone full circle.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. Yeah.
It's gone full circle because I beat Eddie, then Cam beat me,
And then you beat me.
Nice.
We have a good, we got a good circle going on.
do.
Yeah.
Counterclockwise.
But-
Circle working it.
No, then we're past
Insert
that.
separate word later.
Yeah.
Back to the Dougie. So
Teach me how to do.
as you can see, that when you beat a team 8-3, usually you get some points. And he
Sometimes.
got a goal this against them, so that's always good. And he also has 6 assists in his past 8 games, or
Nice.
past now 9 games since the game included today. But just overall, the reason I think you should start him this week is he is the number one fantasy defenseman on Calgary. He has the most goals, the most assists, most shots, and he's -1 away from the most penalty minutes out of all the defensemen on Calgary. So he's obviously their best defenseman.
Obviously.
And they got a pretty nice schedule. And if they're going to beat teams 8-3, then you got to start him. But anyways, his next 3 games they're playing at Dallas, at Arizona, and playing at home versus Winnipeg. Good matchups. I feel completely comfortable starting him this week because he will be their number one defenseman.
Bada bing.
So with that being said, let's move on to the goalies, the tenders. So my extra tender is one that I mentioned before in our waivers, and that is Chad Johnson.
Same team as
same team
as Dougie.
as the Dougie. So for the Calgary Flames, he's been playing really well. As we said before, Elliott's no longer in the crease. It is all Chad Johnson, and rightfully so. He's been playing out of his mind. Within his last 6 games, he's won 5 of them, and the one that they did lose was to the Flyers, and he had to make 38 saves out of 43 shots. So that's not his fault. That's the team. But as we were saying before, he's got a juicy couple of matchups coming up. So I'm all about starting him this week.
Mm-hmm. And my start of the week, I mentioned in the last podcast, it's Scott Darling, 29% owned. This is kind of a no-brainer with Crawford out because the Blackhawks are just such a good team that whoever's going to be getting the majority of starts in net, you got to get him. And I mean, he's only 29% owned. I'm sure that's going to boost up and raise up the next couple of days. But if anything, you should just keep him as a handcuff afterwards too. But he's going to be a must-start whenever he's in net. So, especially this week.
Agree.
Keep going.
All right, our last tender of the day will be Steve Mason. I know what you're thinking, but Cameron, you love Neuwirth. Oh, I do. But let me talk about Steve Mason for a little bit. So he's on a 5-game winning streak with... Now, let me tell you, these numbers are only talking about the last 4 wins because I was unable to get the save percentage and goals against average for this past game today. However, on those first 4 wins of that streak, he had a .941 save percentage, facing a total of 150 shots in that span, giving up only 7 goals. The Flyers do have a relatively dubious schedule this week, facing the Panthers, Oilers, and Stars at home before heading off to face Detroit. But I say ride him while he's hot, and before Neuwirth comes back, and I change my mind. And that'll end our podcast.
Yep. I did want to mention one other thing about Darling.
Resume our podcast.
Oh, my darling.
This week is really prime for him because he has a 3-game homestand, and the Blackhawks are 7-1-2 at home, and they're playing Arizona. New York will be tough, and then they're playing Dallas, and Dallas is terrible on the road. So that's all I want to say.
All right.
Start your darlings. Well, that'll be it.
Long John Johnson.
Oh.